What is up, you guys? It's your favorite cutie, Tati, and today is another episode or installment of Talking with Tati. So today we're going to be talking about users and how to discern and determine if people in your life are draining you, using you, and what to do if you feel like the shoe fits. Okay, you guys know I always keep my handy dandy notes. So the first thing that I open up to is, how do you feel after the interaction? Do you feel drained or do you feel invigorated? So I feel like, of course, when you're a friend, a family member, and you're a part of a community and a support system, there are going to be times where you need to do your part and you will be the giver and you won't always be the receiver of energy. That is totally understandable. But I feel like if 90% of the time someone calls you to ask you for something or to have you go out of your way, or like trauma dumps on you without asking you, if you have the capacity to hear the person out without like having any consideration for you, your life, what you have going on, you might have a user on your hands. So I'm getting a lot better at determining whether someone is a user, and like separating myself and distancing myself. I reply less and less because I do not want to be surrounded with people who view me as a free resource. I had this ideal a couple years ago where I was just like, you know what, I'm really tired of people trying to hit me up to pick my brain or to ask me some questions, or people asking to shadow me, depending on what area of my life, whatever I was doing, without offering anything in return. And that brings me to my second point: reciprocity. So if someone in your life is always asking of you, but never like offering up what it is that they can do to reciprocate that energy, or if they're not already doing things naturally that are pouring back into you, that is also a red flag that somebody is a user and that you need to distance yourself from them. I'm not going to say that you have to completely like get rid of people, because you know, sometimes users can be people that you love, people that are in your family, or that you just can't separate yourself from completely. But energetically, you definitely can make steps to create boundaries if you feel like it's beneficial and will benefit the situation you're in. Maybe you can have a conversation with the person and let them know how you're feeling. And depending on how that situation goes and how everything is communicated, typically a person who is not intentionally trying to drain you or only use you as a resource and take will take that information as self-reflection and be like, dang, you know, maybe I didn't notice that I was showing up this way. I always like to have grace for everybody because nobody on this earth is perfect, and we are all kind of programmed to operate a certain kind of way. So if you have someone in your life who grew up and all they knew was people asking them, ask, take, you know, they might grow up to think that that's how everybody operates, and that's how, you know, they should expect their friends to show up for them, etc. But if they take it well, then that's a sign that, you know, that person maybe just not be self-aware of how they're showing up in the connection. And sometimes a conversation can pivot this and make it more feasible for you to keep going. Another thing that I wrote down, I remember I had a friend that I used to talk to like pretty often, and if you're watching this, hey friend, because we're not as close as we used to be, but definitely we used to talk a lot more. And I remember like I had this friend that used to call me, and they would just immediately start to unload on me everything that was going wrong in their life, everything that was bad. And I started to really get annoyed by that, because they would typically call me in the morning and just like basically like transfer all of their energy onto me. And I really grew, before I even knew the language, I really grew tired of that. And I snapped on that person and was just like, hey, like, don't call me, like, just putting all this stuff on me without asking me first, like, one, if I have the time for it, and two, if I have the capacity, because we all have things going on in our lives. So typically me, if I know that I'm going to talk to somebody and I'm reaching out just for the purposes of be heard, even my mom, like, I'll ask, like, do you even have time for this? Like, do you have the capacity for this? Because, you know, it's very rude and selfish to use somebody else as like your therapist when that's not their job. That's not what they get paid for. And it's not what they signed up for, especially if you're just doing it without asking and just like unloading on somebody. That's completely unfair. So let's talk about what you can do So basically, I already talked about drawing boundaries. That's very important. One telltale way, like I said before, is to figure out if somebody is a user and is just draining you is if they immediately just get upset and they don't want to interact with you anymore based upon you saying that you can't do something. That's how you know that somebody only values you for what you can do for them. And what even made me spark this video up is I had a situation like that yesterday where somebody who basically I owe nothing to for various reasons hit me up and was expecting so much of me and expecting me to inconvenience myself. And I know that the person wouldn't do the same because there's been a very similar situation where like I could have like hit them up and they would not have done any of the things that they were asking me to do. And when I was kind enough to consider and then also even just ask, because I will just ask, you know, for some reciprocity, hey, are you able to do this for me if I can come do this for you? That offended the person and they just felt like, oh, well, basically because it was going to inconvenience them in any kind of way and they had did this, that, and the third, that I should just come out of my home to do this, that, and the third for this person after they hadn't talked to me for months. And I was like, you know what? This person is a user. And also there's another person in my life that I've stopped responding to as often. This person is not a bad person and I really do appreciate and value the friendship that I have with this person. But I started to notice that like usually how this person interacts with me, maybe I'm gonna say 7 times out of 10, not every single time this person does check on me, which is why I don't feel like I have to completely cut them off. Like they'll basically, I see it as like energy fishing. Like when somebody hits you up and they're just like asking of energy in some kind of way. I don't want to leave an example because I feel like it would be too similar and I don't want to put off this person. But basically I started to notice that every single time that this person was hitting me up, or not every single time, I don't want to overgeneralize, but a lot of the time they were kind of fishing for my energy, and I didn't like it, so I just stopped responding. And I feel like that's one way that you can course correct a situation, because sometimes maybe people will start to notice that, oh, this is not the person that I should go to if I just need to, you know, get some energy from real quick. I don't mind being that person. I am a giver by nature and I love to give and I love to do it, but I love to do things that I actually want to do and things that feel good. I don't like to feel obligated to people that I know wouldn't do similar things for me. So it's just like, you know what? You take everything into consideration and move in the best way. So that's one thing. You could just distance yourself by not always responding, or when a person does hit you up and try to use you all the time, just start saying no. If you're able to say no in a kind way and that person is able to maintain a relationship with you, I feel like that's a great way to set a boundary to where they know, I should not be the first person that you call all the time for this, that, and the third. If you need money, like, you know, it's one thing to be generous and give someone some money, like, you know, maybe for a birthday or because you just feel it on your heart, you give somebody some money. But then if they start to ask you just any single time that they just need some cash, like, no, like, that's, to me, it's just like, no. You have to set boundaries, and that's just an example. Like, you know, just saying no more will prohibit people from overusing you as a resource. So with that being said, I don't want to make this super drawn out. I feel like I've made my points clear. Let me know down below, have you guys been able to identify like any users in your life before? And if you did, what did you do to combat the situation? I want to hear from you guys down below. This is called Talking with Tati, but the reason why I call it that is with Tati is because I want to hear from you guys as well. But all right, I'm shuffling our affirmation cards. And you guys know we do this every single day. This is the Me and Me affirmations deck. Got this from a market one time. All right, let's get it. I picked You Are Human. All right, affirmation. There is only so much my mind and body can handle because I am only human. Wow, isn't it crazy how this aligns? Reminder, just because I am a leader doesn't mean I can't be vulnerable too. Practice. Let someone know how you are feeling today. Open up to a friend about a goal you have been working on and ask them for advice. It's okay to ask for help. I like how this tied into this perfectly. Yes, it's okay to ask for help, and definitely always remember that you're just human and you don't have to feel bad if you're not able to be everything to everybody. Literally nobody is. So being able to set up boundaries will allow you to have your human moments and not always be the strong friend that people are just taking from all of the time. So thank you guys so much for spending your time with me today. Please give this video a thumbs up. Hype the video down below if you enjoyed it. And then also subscribe. Follow me everywhere on Oh Your Name Is Tati. On Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok, everywhere. YouTube. And then also follow me on Instagram and on YouTube at It's The Tati Show. And I'll see you guys over there as well. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Mwah. Bye. Kisses. Besos. Mwah. Tati out.